After taking over the world, change how college classes are scheduled even though you won't care anymore. Oh, hi. I was just making a quick note to myself. This has to do with something I was thinking about as I was trying to schedule Express, which I'm not sure I've really done yet, but I was trying to. And I ran into a problem that I've sometimes run into before with just single classes, which is that the way we schedule things doesn't always work very well. And I understand institutional reasons for it, but I wish that for the first couple, 3 weeks of the semester I could have an hour a day every day with people or more, and then later in the semester we could maybe split it up a little more and not need so much. But starts are really important. How you start that semester is so crucial, and there's so much to cover, including things that aren't really academic, but just how do you log in and get computer things done, and getting people to have good habits and meet each other and form connection and build the community and all that. So I don't have control of that yet. Someday. But anyway, so I was trying anyway to figure out the best plan and dodge around days off, and part of the problem is that I really set 1021 to dive in pretty fast so that we can have more time for the revision and putting the portfolio together later. And so that fast start is hard to look at Express and figure out what to do. And I'm not sure I've completely worked it out, but I wanted to talk a little bit about how I tried to do it and what I'm thinking right now, and then we'll see when I look at it again with fresh eyes whether I find anything I want to change or think differently about. What I did was I took the course schedule that I'd laid out for 1021. I added to it my notes for myself of what's going to happen each day. So the course schedule is designed for students and says here's what's due each day. I added to it my notes that I had from my master calendar of what I think is going to happen in class each day. And then I tried to then add below that some information on what would happen in Express, what the assignments would be that would be due from them, and then what we would spend our time doing. And that was tricky because it just seems, again, like there's just a lot that needs to happen early on. I need to give them a lot of support on the technical side of things, how you log in and what does what, and the steps toward those assignments that come so quick. But I don't have a lot of time. I've got 50-minute classes, which I used to like. I think when I was younger and kind of keyed up every time I was teaching and could push really fast and wasn't fully aware how little of that was maybe sticking. And then as I have gotten older and have thought more about the virtue of leaving some space and processing time, and that I don't have to make every minute be something in order to get the overall effects that I'm after. So I've kind of changed, but I've got both the classes laid out as 3 a week, 50-minute classes, and so I've got to work with that as best I can. And of course, as is often the case, we lose the second Monday of the semester to a holiday, and so I've got to dodge that. Get them up to speed with D2L enough that we can do some early things with it, get them up to speed enough that they can just do the assigned stuff in 1021 and still be producing some kind of draft of their first essay by the second week, the Wednesday of the second week. So I tried to lay that out. And I'll try to link the draft that I have right now. I only laid out about the first 2 weeks in any detail. I then put in some placeholder things throughout the rest of the semester to remind me that I've got to have the reading responses due periodically, and I've got to have them doing online stuff periodically. But it's just hard for me to see right now what all that should be. So rather than do that hard work, I was watching old TV shows, and I watched an episode of Sports Night, which is an obscure show that more of you should know about. And there's an episode in which one of the characters asserts that he has a plan, and in particular he has Napoleon's plan, which comes in two parts: show up and see what happens. And it seems like that's kind of what Express calls for, but I'm very nervous about that. I've felt like that's something I should try for a long time, but I've never had the courage to do it with any of my classes. I remember a long time ago reading Ira Shore talking about how you lay out your class and have a plan for, we'll do these essays and whatever, and then you show up hoping you won't need any of that planning. And I thought that sounded really cool and impressive, and would love to do it, but I've never done it. Express may force me to do it. What I'll do is probably look back at that schedule and see if those first couple weeks really make sense, or if I need to scrap it and try again, or if I need to scrap it and go in blind. But I got to have some things nailed down, don't I? I don't know. Well, if I'm going to lay out for them, you're graded on this, then I need to do some things. And if I'm going to have them do reading responses, I need to establish ahead of time how many I'm requiring and when they come. And if we're doing the group project, I need to at least have a sense of when in the semester that has to happen, or otherwise I'll lose track and we'll run out of time because it'll sneak up on me and I'll get ambushed. And because the class is defined as a hybrid, I've got to kind of build in, at least to my planning, that there needs to be that hybrid element of it. And so I've got to have reminders to myself that has to be a part of what we want to do. And I think that's important. I think it's useful because it's a communication that's primarily reading and writing. And I want them to practice that. And it lets me see their informal writing immediately throughout the semester. So I think there are good things there. I just don't yet know exactly what they are. Maybe the 2 weeks will stand as it is, and I'll just improvise from there. Or maybe I just need to execute the plan where I show up and then see what happens. That's daunting for me, and so I hope to, if time permits, soon do a special guest star episode with Cullen and talk with her a little bit about how we're feeling at this point in the process, because I think that's actually a kind of important part for us to consider. But for right now, I did what I said I was going to do, and I laid out a couple of weeks, and I laid out the broad outline, and I have those on paper, and I have 4% confidence in them. So I'll think about it some more and have some time probably over the next week to kind of let my mind wander on it and then come back to it and see where we're at. And then decide whether I want to kind of commit to that plan or erase it a bit, and what that means for my grading chart that is looking flaky now. Not flaky, but I'm afraid to commit to it because I'm afraid I can't follow through on it. But I feel like I have to have something written down where they document that they've done the stuff. It's just that I don't know yet what the stuff will always be. Part of the trick is they've got to really put in the time, and so I've got to make sure that right out of the gate they learn that they have to really put in the time. So that means I can't slack off on giving assignments. I can't wait until week 3 and then kind of figure it out and then pile on the work, because they'll learn the habit of not doing it. Again, starts are important. So I'm thinking about the start. I'm thinking about scheduling, and I'm thinking about how much courage I have to go in without it all written down and then see where we end up. More soon.